Welcome back to KIKAO session.
Thank you.
Violet, you said something which is, which I was very interested. I needed a definition. I hear you are saying we are focusing on smallholder farmers, and the smallholder farmers are those who are operating on a 2 hectares
And less,
land,
yeah.
or
5 acres. Yeah, in terms of acres, we are talking about 5 acres. Yeah.
We are talking of 5 acres land, and those are below that. We are talking of smallholder farmers.
Smallholder farmers.
And we are saying that they don't get the right value of their investment.
Exactly.
This is what you were answering to.
Yeah.
And I want to get also some ideas from Dr. Salamatu.
Okay. Thank you very much. Just to add on to what my colleague has rightly said, you know, we are not taking advantage of the number of farmers that we have. We are blessed by numbers, and they said there's strength in number. But, you know, we need to put a lot of effort. Like she has said, organizations are working separately. Why don't we come together and bring that consciousness to our farmers to even value themselves, to believe that they are the backbone of Africa? We are saying it on their behalf. Let us make them feel it and own it. So when they come together, we build their group dynamic system together and make sure that they have that economic right that they look into. Let them demand for these activities we're talking about. You know, the information technology and all other things, once they come together and they appreciate themselves, then they can improve on their financial skills management programs together. They are able to advocate for things that concern them, not people doing that on their behalf. And then they are able to determine what is of priority to them. Most of the interventions we talk about are not targeting what the farmers want. And because they say the hand that receives is always below. So they bring you an intervention and they just take it.
They supply you with the things that you may not necessarily
which the farmers don't actually need. So we need to separate between the needs, the want, and what exactly is of priority to these farmers. So this will make them to increase in the productivity.
Don't you think that will go with capacity development? That they need to develop that capacity to be able to determine exactly their priorities and how they...
That is the capacity development I'm talking about, which will include the good agricultural practices, negotiation skills of these farmers themselves, knowing what to apply, what not to apply, and how to market it and where the markets are. And what about the ICT? It needs, like she said, ICT is very, very relevant. And we have to apply it in the exact places. Again, the size of the population is increasing every day. And the land size is reducing because we have the vast land, but we may not be using it to farm during rainy and dry season farming, for instance. Some have gone for urbanization and so on. Then it means that we need to change the way we farm. We need to rethink agriculture. So we build the capacity of these farmers to now use improved technology so we can harvest more, we can produce more in an easier way. Thank you.
Informed farmers, equipped with the right knowledge, the right technologies, will improve their productivity and then be able to cater for the needs of a wider population. And then we need absolutely agricultural transformation to adapt ourselves to the current context. We cannot do it the way our grandfathers, our grandparents did. But many times you came to the issue of bargaining power, negotiation, capabilities, and the market. Let us come back to that. How do we ensure that we have a reliable market, which is very critical to even bring that motivation to produce more? And also because there will be assured income, then also the youth will be interested to come in. It will be a positive, a success business. How do we ensure that we have that market that can be reliable and ensure that smallholder farmers and not held down there.
So
yes.
Let me take it up from the perspective of what we call contract farming. You know, these farmers, when they grow, they just do that without standard and without knowing the relevant market to take this to. And now we're bringing consciousness of what we call contract farming, like we all know. And there are like 5 types of contract farming. The one that both the buyer and the seller are not at risk and there's nothing to lose, but always the farmer is the one that loses because he will stay with his things because they are not meeting the market needs and so on. They may not buy it, or because he didn't have enough money, he will sell this and a middleman will offtake everything, and that will be the end. And we have the organized system, which I think we should make sure that we're putting a little bit of emphasis before they go into the farming sector. If we have organized off-takers for this, it means that the off-takers, let's take a relationship between the cereal producer, like my sister is doing, and the person that is processing. He needs a particular variety. You bring the input from the beginning of what he needs so that he knows that the production is coming from this end, and he knows that the market is there. But where the farmer gets cheated is that he doesn't have the capacity to negotiate with this off-taker. So if he's not smart enough, he will not be able to cost for his production. And there's another one that interventions bring. They give them like loan, and they tell the farmers to return products that probably will not pay back these farmers. So someone needs to be there to let them know. And where they miss it is that at the beginning of harvest, of production, the cost of input and so on, they give to the farmer. But because the farmer is not co-sharing in the cost, they can add like 20% cost of input. And at the time of harvest, probably the farmer will not, what they have agreed the owner is going to buy from him, he may not be making anything out of that. And at the end, he goes back to square zero. So in a nutshell, that consciousness must come so that it's a win-win relationship between the two. The off-takers, the producers, all of them must come to the center.
That is a very important segment that most of the time is like forgotten in the whole consideration of developing agriculture and empowering the smallholder farmer. Let me ask you, you represent very important organizations. How do these associations then come in to at least ensure that the smallholder farmer is protected, that he is not cheated by the what you call cartel, these off-takers who take advantage of the smallholder farmer?
Okay, thank you so much, Doc. Just a quick rejoinder on what she mentioned. I want also to add on what you mentioned. It's just not about reliable market. It has to be reliable and profitable. If it is not profitable, the farmer won't make economic sense in what they're doing. That is one. Number two, we need to move from the mentality of helping farmers to increase productivity so that they can sell. I would sum it like this. Let's farmer grow for the market, not to market. Let them not grow so that they can go and market, but let them now grow what the market requires. So grow for the market and not to market. There was the issue around the youth. Telling beautiful and nice stories about agriculture will never bring the youth into agriculture. I know there are many discussions around making agriculture sexy. You have to go beyond that. Anything that is sexy and does not bring money or put money in the pocket, trust me, the youth will never get into agriculture. So telling nice stories about agriculture alone is not enough. What can make that youth have money in the pocket? Now, that's where the game changer is. Now, to your question, what are we doing as institutions to help? Now, having learned, you know, it's always a learning process, drawing from the lessons of the projects that we're implementing and the interventions we're putting in place. One thing that is coming out clear is that you need to have an end-to-end system to help the farmer. Don't come with an intervention that will help them increase productivity and you do not provide market. Don't provide extension system that leaves them with a new technology or a new innovation to adopt and does not give them supportive functionality for the value chain until completion. Even what the government is doing, don't come with interventions that will increase productivity and you're not giving other additional support, including access to finance. At the end of the day, the farmers won't be able to access markets. Now, farmers are not accessing markets because they do not know what the market requires. Can we facilitate them to know in terms of quantity, quality, and consistency? And then don't leave them alone. Have a system that will more or less bring like an integrated or a graduated marketing system for them. I'm a farmer who is here in Nairobi or in Kiambu, for example. I'm growing beans. A consumer in Turukana wants that particular beans, but as a farmer, for me to access Turukana market, it will eat into the profit margin. And when it comes to agriculture, the profit margin is very small. So what else can we put in place, either as development partners, associations like us, to help them, you know, reach that particular market and still have that margin profit? So what we do as Zero Grower Association, we have come up with a model where we are creating a last mile delivery process where we are developing what we are calling Farmer Service Center. It's like a one-stop shop for the farmer. Not only are they able to access backward linkages, but also forward linkages in terms of market and also accessing input. So this person becomes like a rural agripreneur who supports in aggregating demand for inputs and aggregating demand for supply, and therefore they aggregate on behalf of the farmers.
That is, it shields the farmer against that kind of, I call it cheating, because they are cheated, I think, with those, they are lured into productivity, they get some input, but when they have the produces, the flow is stopped somewhere, and then they don't get the result they were expecting, they remain at square zero.
Exactly.
And that is a serious problem. I think we need to consider the whole value chain, increase production, but also where do you bring this product? And it comes again to the standard and quality of the produces. Who is it that need what you are producing?
Exactly.
So produce for the market.
For the market,
I think that is another thing. You talked about transportation, which is one of the ingredients. And we talked about smallholder farmers, small productions. How do you put all of them together to make a volume which will make the cost of transport and other services affordable? All those are things that we need to look into. But also we need to look into the losses, post-harvest losses, which occur because of the delays and disconnection between different levels of
the food
levels
supply
of
chain.
or the food supply chain. I think it is very interesting. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we will again look at how do we really create some bridges for the smallholder farmers to reach the end and create some prosperity.